Welcome back to Seattle's Morning News. I'm Charlie Harger. We could soon learn more about the assassinations of President Kennedy, his brother Robert, and Martin Luther King Jr. President Trump has ordered the declassification of parts of the investigations that have been secret until now. Brooke Shafer from NewsNation is following this story. She joins us on the Seattle's Morning News line. Brooke, what are we hearing from the president, and what might we expect to see?
There's still a lot of questions about exactly what we could see. I'll get into that in a second. But right now we're hearing first sort of the timeline of how this is going to play out now that President Trump signed this executive order yesterday. We know that the Attorney General and the Director of National Intelligence, they've got 2 weeks to come up with a plan to release the remaining JFK files. They have a little over a month to make a plan for releasing the files on RFK and MLK. But again, there's still some questions this morning on when we could see the records officially be made public. When could we be able to go through all of them? And of course, keep in mind, we at this point don't have a confirmed Attorney General or Director of National Intelligence. So the two people who need to make up this plan aren't confirmed just yet. So still some questions about how all of this really is going to play out and what we could learn. Some researchers who've really been following this, of course, this has captivated people. These assassinations have captivated people for decades, really, and so many questions surrounding all of it. Some researchers who have been following it have told us anybody who is maybe expecting a dramatic explanation, maybe as far as the Kennedy assassination is concerned, will likely be disappointed. They're not necessarily expecting to see some big smoking gun in these documents. But we are talking about thousands of documents that still have not been declassified. And I think a lot of people, of course, have been waiting to see that.
And one of the things I have noticed is that this might actually be more of a national security thing in terms of information the CIA had. A lot of the Kennedy files, that's where it's heavily redacted, is stuff with the CIA.
Right, exactly. And also keep in mind, there are millions of documents, especially, when we're talking about JFK specifically here, there are millions of documents that have already been released. What's left is probably about 3,000 documents is really what's sort of expected to be released here. And a lot of those have not been revealed yet as far as, national security officials are concerned. They say those haven't been revealed because of security concerns. But of course, people want to see that because there are a lot of questions about, hey, did the CIA know anything? What did they know and when? And of course, there have been a lot of conspiracy theories about the CIA's involvement in the JFK assassination, allegations and accusations that the CIA has consistently denied.
And it's wild to consider, Brooke, that it's been a little more than 61 years since JFK was assassinated, and there are still things so highly sensitive, they feel they need to keep them secret still to this day.
Yeah, it's really remarkable. I know it's hard to believe, right, that it's been that long, and there are still so many questions, and this is still such a topic that people want to discuss and people have questions about. And again, of course, there are conspiracy theories, sort of swirling around there. But I do think it's interesting. We have an investigative journalist over here at NewsNation, Ross Coldhart. He has been looking into these files for decades as well. He joined our Chris Cuomo on NewsNation last night, and he said he agrees. He thinks this is a good thing to release these files. He doesn't necessarily think there is going to be necessarily some big smoking gun in these, last remaining documents. But he said that there is strong public suspicion fueled by conspiracy theories. And he said that, in order to really sanitize these conspiracy theories, he said nothing's better than the sterilizing disinfectant of sunlight, right? So at the end of the day, hopefully with the release of these documents, we do get some more answers about what happened here. But also maybe in turn, it just ends those conspiracy theories that have really been swirling for decades now.
People have pushed for this information to be shared for decades, obviously.
Sure.
There's also the entire side thing that the president has said he may be divulging more in terms of what the U.S. government knows about UAPs, what is commonly known as UFOs, and these drones that have been sighted up and down the East Coast. Have we gotten any progress or any guidance from the Trump administration about what they may be prepared to disclose?
Still no guidance on that yet. And again, sort of like with this executive order, there are a lot of questions about how things will be revealed, especially if there are those potential national security concerns. But President Trump, for his part, has really promised full transparency. When he was signing this executive order about JFK, RFK, and MLK, he said that everything will be revealed. So I think at this point, it's sort of just a matter of time waiting to see how this all plays out.
Okay, Brooke Shafer from NewsNation. We're eagerly awaiting whatever comes out and what may still come out with all this disclosure. Thanks for your time today, Brooke.
Thanks for having me.